In this video, we are solving 3 higher maths exam type questions. One on trigonometric equations, a second one on probability, and a third one on algebra. This is a 5 marks question. Solve the equation sec squared of x minus 2 times the tangent of x equals 0 if x lies between 0 and 2 pi. Using the identity and paying a bit of attention, we can see that this is a perfect square. The square of tangent of x minus 1 is the square of tangent of x minus 2 times the tangent of x plus 1. This is 0 when the tangent of x equals 1. You got 2 marks so far. The solutions can be found using the inverse tangent of 1. This returns 45 degrees or pi over 4. The second solution comes from adding 180 degrees or pi radians. 5 pi over 4. 2 more marks. This second one is another 5 marks question. 5 girls and 2 boys are sitting randomly on a straight bench. Find the probability that the girls sit together and the boys sit together. You have 7 students, and that means you have 7 factorial ways to arrange them. Yes, this is because you have 7 gaps to fill on a straight line. The first gap can be occupied by any of the 7 students. The second can be occupied by any of the 6. The third can be occupied by any of the 5, etc. Your first mark. Now, the number of ways for girls to sit together is 5 factorial. Following a similar approach, the number of ways for boys to sit together is 2 factorial. Now, the number of ways for girls and boys to sit together is the product, and means times in probability. That is 2 more marks for you. They sit on a straight line, so you can either have 5 girls followed by 2 boys or 2 boys followed by 5 girls. So you should multiply that by 2. That is another mark. The probability that boys and girls sit together is that fraction. Playing with the properties of factorial, 7 factorial can be written as 7 times 6 times 5 factorial. This cancels the 5 factorial at the top. We are left with 42 at the bottom and 4 at the top. Oh, that is the other 2 marks. And again, a 5 marks question. Consider the graphs of y equals absolute value of x and y equals negative absolute value of x plus a, where a is a positive integer. 2 marks for sketching the graphs on the same set of axes, and 3 more for finding a if the area enclosed by the graphs is 50 square units. The graph of the absolute value of x can be found reflecting the negative part of the graph of y equals x on the x-axis. This is because when taking the absolute value of a negative number, it turns into positive. Now, the second graph is a combination of finding the negative version of the absolute value graph and moving it a positions vertically. The other 3 marks come from finding a if the area of the square is 50. The graphs meet at the point with x coordinate equals a over 2. So the area of the square can be found doubling the area of this triangle, base a times height a over 2 divided by 2. This leads to the equation a squared over 2 equals 50, so a squared must be 100. We reject the negative solution, so a equals 10. 3 more marks for you.